The economics of the 1940s. The Great Depression was from around 1929 to the late 1930s. It left people with little money, debt, and high unemployment rate, which at its peak was at 25%. Around 1939, the GDP had started to rise well above its pre-depression level by the spring of 1939, but it was still not fully recovered. During the war, people had money to spend but nowhere to spend it. There were little goods in the market, so it inflated the prices. To try and curb this, the government instated war bonds, which people could invest their money into and would later be able to cash out after the war. From 1946 to 1948, following the war, they removed price controls and wage controls that they had instated to try and curb inflation during the war. As pent-up demand from consumers who had been unable to purchase items, there was an inflation surge. From 1948 to 1949, there was a mild recession after the post-war spending that many people did when the goods were back in stock. The economy started to level off, causing a small bit of downturn for things. The 1940s major event was World War II. It's what defined it. It started in 1939, and the United States joins the war in December of 1941 after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. So, during this time, people had little. Men were overseas at war, and women started taking jobs in factories and helping making things for the war effort. The war ended in 1945. Things took a turn where there was a boom in economics and production of items and ideas. The alteration of the traditional family happened when men were sent off to war, and it left women to provide for the family and start working to help the war movement. To get women to work, the industries launched a massive propaganda campaigns. Figureheads like Rosie the Riveter were made. This whole situation is part of the reason why women now have much more of an active role in the workforce than they did before the 1940s. The government implemented a total war economy, mobilizing industries and rationing resources, increasing taxes and borrowing through the sale of massive amounts of war bonds. Then after the war, they shifted to free market principles and economic growth. War bonds had a large effect of serving both a patriotic investment and a financial tool. Buying war bonds gave families a direct link and a way in helping them participate in the war, boosting morale and patriotism. The bonds offered a way to save money for future needs after the war. The government also put out ration cards and stamps, allowing people to purchase limited items like sugar, coffee, gasoline, and clothing. The businesses started to make a shift in hiring more people because of the up in production that was needed for the war effort. This created millions of new jobs. How this affected American families was by an increase in new jobs. It played a large role for women and minorities being able to get jobs that were often dominated by men, helping either women whose husbands were away at war provide for their families, or families of minorities that would have often been discriminated against and now might have more of a chance at getting the job. The average American family in the 1940s is considered to be the nuclear family, consisting of a mother, father, and around 2 children. The 1940s were not the direct cause in creation of the nuclear family definition, but it was a helping hand in it. After the war, when men who survived came back, there was a bit of a return to the previous typical gender roles of women staying home and the men going back to work.